Most worshipful Grand Masters, distinguished brethren, it is a great honor for me to participate in this conference dedicated to the theme of peace. The history of humanity is a succession of periods of creation and destruction, cooperation and conflict. But even in the most difficult times, there have always been institutions striving to preserve the possibility of mutual understanding among people, regardless of nationality, religion, or political views. One such institution for more than 3 centuries has been regular Freemasonry. The distinctive feature of our brotherhood is that it has never been a political union of like-minded individuals. On the contrary, Freemasonry has always united people from different countries with different beliefs and cultures on the basis of shared moral principles. History knows many examples when Freemasons found themselves on opposite sides of the front. Such was the case during the Napoleonic Wars. French, British, Prussian, Austrian, and Russian officers who were Freemasons fought against each other, remaining loyal to their duty and their countries. At the same time, the history of Freemasonry has preserved many accounts of how fraternal ties helped maintain a sense of humanity, even under the harsh conditions of war. There are known cases of providing assistance to wounded enemies after battles, helping to deliver letters and news to families, supporting prisoners of war, and arranging proper burials for the fallen, regardless of which flag they served under. Masonic tradition has preserved stories of how brothers helped former adversaries return home after the end of military campaigns. They provided horses, provisions, and letters of recommendation to ensure safe passage through European countries that had only recently been at war with each other. After the end of the Napoleonic Wars, it was precisely the preservation of personal and professional ties between former adversaries that contributed to Europe's return to peace and cooperation. The same was true during the Civil War in the United States of America. It was the same during the World Wars. Freemasonry has never stopped wars, but it has helped preserve something extremely important: the understanding that even on opposite sides of the barricades, people remain human. That is precisely why I would like to share a thought with you. Much has been said about the idea that reconciliation is only possible after a conflict has ended. History, however, offers a different experience as well. If people only started talking about peace after wars had ended, many wars would have lasted much longer. Freemasonry has never been an institution that arrives last after the diplomats, generals, and politicians. On the contrary, its special role has always been to preserve the human dimension precisely when political systems stop seeing each other as people. We did not gather here to determine winners and losers, assign blame, or deliver a historical verdict. That is the role of states, courts, politicians, and historians. We have gathered for a different purpose: to actively safeguard and preserve the possibility of dialogue between different individuals at a time when such conversation becomes increasingly and almost entirely impossible. If brotherhood only begins to act after the guns have fallen silent, then it ceases to be a force for reconciliation and becomes merely a witness to events that have already taken place. Peace does not begin at the moment documents are signed. Peace begins at the moment when people find the courage to speak to one another despite what is happening. That is why participating in a peace conference is not an act of reconciliation. It is an act of responsibility toward future reconciliation. Precisely because the war continues, such meetings matter. History shows that peace rarely begins with the first official agreement. Usually, it is preceded by a more modest yet no less important task, the preservation of human connections and the possibility of communication at a time when official dialogue has already been destroyed. It is precisely this role that regular Freemasonry has often played over the centuries. I speak about this not only as a researcher of Freemasonry, but also as a traveling Mason. During my Masonic career, I have had the opportunity to visit more than 100 Grand Lodges around the world, in Europe, Asia, Africa, North and South America, as well as in Australia. I have had the chance to sit in lodge with brothers of different nationalities, cultures, languages, and political views. And this experience taught me a very simple thing. People begin to understand each other better not after political declarations, but after personal acquaintance and communication. Every fraternal visit, every joint work in the lodge, every sincere conversation between brothers helps to maintain dialogue among Masons and therefore among nations. Unfortunately, for 7 years now, I have not been able to obtain a visa to the United States of America, and for 5 years to the countries of the Schengen Agreement. And I sincerely consider this a loss not only for myself personally, but also for those human connections that could have arisen between the brothers of our countries. Today, political relations between states are going through difficult times. Many traditional channels of public communication have been weakened or even completely destroyed. In recent years, unfortunately, we have witnessed a reduction in opportunities for such communication, even within the international Masonic community. However, every bridge that is destroyed makes future mutual understanding more difficult. Conversely, every bridge that is preserved leaves hope for dialogue. This is precisely the meaning I see in our meeting today. Not in an attempt to erase existing differences, not in a desire to impose one's own truth on anyone, but in preserving the very possibility of human conversation. For centuries, Freemasonry has taught people to see each other first and foremost as brothers, and only then as representatives of states, faiths, or political views. Today, Freemasonry remains one of the last channels of unofficial human communication between Russia and the world. We are Freemasons. We are builders. So let us build not Berlin walls, but bridges between peoples. Thank you, brethren.